One of the most successful niche on TikTok is fan page editing. A bunch of creators post edits of their favorite actors, shows, athletes and more. I'm an editor myself with over 100k followers, and what I noticed, After Effects is definitely the best program for fan page editing. In this video I will teach you step by step how to make an edit like this. And the good thing is, you don't even need plugins. You only need After Effects. Let's go! So once you open up After Effects, this looks super freaking confusing. But trust me, After Effects is not that hard as you might expect. So the first thing you're gonna do is, we're gonna do a new composition. So just press on this big ass button right here, and a new tab will open. We're gonna do some settings here. It depends really what you wanna do, but I'm gonna explain everything. So first of all, we have the width and the height of the composition. I'm gonna pop in some composition settings right here that you might can use. I personally use 1080 by 1200 because it looks pretty decent and nice, but there are multiple ones, so just choose the one you like to do. For frame rate, as you can see, I already have 23.976. The best settings in my opinion are 23.976 FPS, 30 FPS, or also 60 FPS. So for this video, we're gonna use 30 FPS, and then you're just gonna press OK. So now we're done with that. You have your composition, but nothing more. First of all, you need Scenepacks, and then you also need an audio. And then you might ask yourself, okay, where do I get freaking Scenepacks? I never heard of that stuff. There are multiple Scenepack accounts. It really depends on in which fandom you are. But in my opinion, the best Scenepack accounts are Scenepack Mutuals, is Prixme or Prime Logoless, I don't know how to pronounce them, and also 411 Scenes. They're all on Insta. I'm gonna put probably the link in the description if I don't forget it. So just search them up, follow them, and you will find a bunch of Scenepacks. But you also need an audio. I'm gonna use the audio now from Riaz Audios. There are multiple just audio accounts. I will probably pop some in here. So now just take that, copy this, and we're gonna go to a different website called ssstik.io. We're gonna do this so we can download our audio. Then just paste it in, press on download button, and press on download MP3. So now your thing should be downloaded. So now I'm just gonna take this and put it into our composition. So now it should be here. Also my Scenepack, I'm gonna use a Scenepack from Scenepack Mutuals. Since I'm an RDJ editor, we were gonna do a Tony Stark edit. Now, before we start with the edit, I wanna go through some stuff you should probably just know. Down here is the timeline. Here's where we're gonna edit. On the left, you can do some options like motion blur and other stuff. I will get into detail with this later. Then here on the left are your clips, like maybe you use multiple Scenepacks or multiple audios, I don't know. So everything should be here. Down here are just multiple icons like the select icon, the selection tool, the hand tool, also the masking tool, and most importantly the text tool. Then also on the right you have some more tabs like align or other stuff. Then audio, you can see how loud your audio is, tracker to track motion, and the most important thing is effects and presets. You definitely need this tab a lot. So what we're gonna do now is, the first step of the video is setting beats. What you're gonna see now is that my audio is sadly a little bit too long, and we don't want this. To change this, press right click here and go to composition settings. So I'm just gonna put a random number in here, like 20 seconds for instance. And now I just go down here. This is a button where you can like zoom out or zoom in, and then you like zoom it out, and you just take this blue thing right here and look where your audio ends. So for me it ends at 12.03. This number will be different for you. We're gonna press right click again and go into composition settings and change this duration number the same as we have here. So just do 12.03. So that is for me. Do the number that you have and then press OK. And now the audio is perfectly matched to the composition. So now we're gonna do the hard part on setting beats. So to do that, I personally use the easy option. There are multiple options, but I just press double L on my keyboard, and as you can see, something opens up. What you should focus on are snares, bass, like really in general also text where you think a beat should be. Once you found out, okay, the audio is starting here, go to the right and do this little check or like, I don't know, marking thing and press it. Now a marker opens and we're gonna zoom in here pretty quick. And this helps you later, if you put your clips down, where to put them and just set the beats. So I will be back in a second once I've finished that. So now the next part is finding the right scenes. Your scene pack should be here. For me, it's the Tony Stark .mp4 scene pack. And now what you're gonna do is just press double click, don't get confused, on that clip right here. So now something like this should open and you see like a timeline right here that you can move and some other buttons. So I went to the scene pack and I want to have this clip, for instance. And what you're gonna do now is press this button right here. So as you can see, the left video, this whole thing is not there anymore. And then you go a little bit to the right. Let's say the clip ends here, right? And then you press this button. And then you can just take your clip and put it into your timeline. And boom, you have your clip. It's honestly not that hard. I'm gonna put this clip maybe like here. And then you already have your clip, but we need to do some adjustments, as you can see. I see most of the beginners press like S on their keyboard and then just scale this. But honestly, I'm not really a big fan of this. I prefer to press the following shortcut: Alt, Control, Shift, and G. As you can see, it's like perfectly matched to the composition and you're done. The other one, by the way, if we scale this a little bit, for the, I feel like for the height or width it's better, is Control Alt Shift H. And as you can see, it's now perfectly adjusted for the width. So press Control Alt Shift G and then you're done. By the way, if you want to undo something, this is also a very important shortcut. You need to press Control Z on your keyboard. Okay, nice. So what you're gonna do now is, since the clip is not really centered, right? So we press P on, like mark this clip and press P on your keyboard. So this position tab should open. And there you can see there are two options. If this option moves the clip up and down, and this option moves the clip left and right. So we're gonna go back pretty quick. So we have it how we had it before. And then we just take the first option and put it to the right, and now it's centered. As you can see, our clip is too long. There are two ways on how you can do it. It's either you just take this thing and put it like that, but as you might know, I'm not really a fan of that. Just mark the clip and we're gonna cut, and the shortcut for that is Control Shift and D. And then just press the delete button on your keyboard and then it's gone. I will do this with the following clips as well. Okay, so I just finished all of the clips, and what we're gonna do now is we're gonna mute all of the clips because we don't want to hear them in the video. Mark this clip, the first clip, and then press Shift on your keyboard and go to the last clip and mark this as well. Like now everything is marked, and you go to the left here to this little box. So if you press this, everything will get muted. If you press it again, everything is on. Same with the eye thing. If you press this, it goes away. And if you press this, it will be there again. We're not done yet. We need another two options. We need multi-frame rate and motion blur. We can find multi-frame rate here. It makes our clips way much smoother. So just press it once and twice. And once this error appears, you're done. Same with the motion blur one. We're gonna use time remap. So what you need to do is mark the clip, right click, and then search for time, and then do freeze frame. Okay, so now something like this should open. Go to the end of the clip, here, exactly where the 2 is, and we need to get into those options right here. They're very slim, I hope you can see them. It says 111909, and we need to change this last number. I personally choose between 12 and 14, so 9 plus 14 is 23. So we're gonna change this number to 23. By the way, if your number is for instance 30, you need to add 14 there as well. So 30 plus 14 would be 44. So you change your number to 44. I hope that makes sense. Okay, nice. So now this looks very weird. Like nothing is really happening here. So to change that, we're gonna mark those and press F9 on your keyboard to easy ease. If you don't have this button, right click, keyframe assistant, and easy ease. Boom, and now you can see it's already moving. Something is happening here. But this will look very weird. To change that and to get a good remap, we need to go into the graph editor. So mark this, both of those keyframes, and search this little button right here and press it. We're gonna make this a little bit bigger so we can see our graph better. By the way, there are two types of graphs. I hope for you it's the value graph right here. If not, right click. And then you probably have this graph. It's a speed graph. Just right click and use value graph. You're gonna use value graph for this one. Press on that and you see those yellow dots, those yellow points right here. And if you take them, you can move this. As you can see, it already changed the video a lot. And now the most important part, we're gonna do a graph like this. Okay, I need to adjust it how I want it to have probably like that. Nice. And now you have a nice little slow motion. So now we have the time remap for this clip done, and sadly I don't know if you can copy time remap. I don't think so. I usually use Trickster and this kind of slow motion plugin. You can copy it to each clip, but basically what you need to do for this clip is the exact same thing for first clip. I'm gonna do this again now. So you know what you need to do. You press right click, time, and then freeze frame. Then go to the end of the clip. Search this option again here, plus 14, 15, plus 14 is 29. And you're done. Mark both of this. Right click, keyframe assistant, and easy ease. Then you go into the graph editor and do basically a graph like this. By the way, we do the graph like that because it goes faster in the beginning, it's a little bit slower in the middle, and then fast at the end. And then you have the time remap done for this clip as well. You do this now for every single clip, so I need to do this now for those as well. And once I finish that, we will see us again. Okay, so I finished the time remap, and as you can see, I didn't do the time remap here for a reason, since I have a loop. It really depends if you have a loop or not. If not, then you need to obviously need to do the time remap for all of the clips. We need to pre-compose the clips because some of the effects don't work if the clip is not pre-composed. So we're gonna, if you pre-compose the clip, it will match the composition. So as you see right here, the clip obviously matches the composition, but on the sides there's still the clip, and we don't want this. So what we're gonna do is mark the clip, right click, and then search for pre-compose. Tick this checkbox here and press OK. So now it's pre-composed, and if I press scale again, by the way, press S here, and then you can scale. You can see it matches now our composition. This is a very important step, and you will do this a lot. So I will do this now with every single clip. Okay, so I finished this now. What you can also do with pre-composing is combining two clips. So let's say I want to combine those clips right here. So what you're going to do is mark this one, press shift, mark this. The shortcut for pre-composing is Ctrl-Shift-C, and then move all attributes together. And boom, now we have one long clip. This is pretty useful for a lot of situations. For instance, you finished your edit and you want to have like one huge clip, if that makes sense. So yeah, but we don't want to do that now because we want to copy those things right here. To copy it, you need to press Ctrl-D on your keyboard. And now it's copied, and now you move it where you want to have it, basically like here. But as you can see, this looks kind of confusing, and we want to have it more organized. And what I say all the time, we want to have a stair. So to do this, mark this clip right here and go to the left, and then press your left mouse button, hold it, and go up. And once you have the right timeline or line, then just drop it. And you can do this with every single one of those. Okay, perfect, nice. We have the nice little stair, we have the loop already, we have the trickster, and it's already looking pretty decent. So the next thing we will do are zooms. Zooms are really important because it gives a movement to your edit. And honestly, they're pretty easy to do. So here's how you do them. So for this one, we're gonna create a zoom in. So mark the clip, press S on your keyboard, scale, keyframe this, go all to the end, and we do 130. Perfect. Now mark those, right click or press just as F9 and easy ease. Go into the graph editor and we basically do the same graph as we did for a time remap. A graph like this, I would say. So now we're gonna do a zoom out, like the other direction. Mark the clip, press S on your keyboard, take the 100, this keyframe right here, to all to the right, and in the beginning we do 130. Mark those, press F9, or just do the what we did before, and do a graph like this. Just play with it, you know? And the cool thing now is you can copy them. So let's say here, I definitely want to have a zoom in here. So I go to this clip. You can either press S or U on your keyboard, so the keyframes will open. Mark them, Control C on your keyboard, and go to the third clip, and then you just press Control V. Press U on your keyboard, and this should open. For me, it's already matched. Maybe if it looks like this, for instance, just take the keyframe and put it all to the right. But I would always check if the graph looks still the same, because sometimes it changes up, but everything is good. And now you can just copy all of the keyframes to the clip. So I will do this for this one as well. I want to have a zoom out for this one. Go here and press Ctrl V on your keyboard. Oh, press U to open this, and as you can see here, it's not matching, so I just take the keyframe and match it. So I will do this now with every single clip of those, and then I will see you again. Okay, so we have the first step done, the slow motion, and the second step done, the zooms, and now the third step will be the fade in and fade out. This one is a pretty easy step. We will go to this second clip here. We will do the fade out now. So press T on the keyboard. Opacity will open now. Keyframe 100%, and we will do 20%. I often do 20%, and as you can see, it already gets darker. F9 on your keyboard and go into the graph editor. And for this one, we will do a graph like that. Oh, why do I move all of this? So, and now the fade in. For the fade in, we need a new effect called brightness and contrast. This one. Put this onto your clip and search for brightness above here. Keyframe this. This will, oh wait, press U on your keyboard so you can see the keyframe here. And we will do for our first setting -60. Now hold Control and the right arrow key and go 1, 2, 3 frames to the right, and we will change this to 30. And then go all the way to the end and do 0. This is basically a little exposure we made, or like a little flash, if you want to call it like this. So now press U on your keyboard again and ignore the scale here. Okay, so as you can see, we have here the brightness and contrast, here the scale, and this opacity. So we want to copy opacity and scale. So hold Shift and mark those keyframes. We only need those. Press Ctrl C on your keyboard. Now you can copy it to the next clip. Boom. Press U on your keyboard again. It's already perfectly matched. But if I will copy it here, it's not perfectly matched, so I need to change the keyframes. And now you copy this to every single clip. I will speed this up here. So I basically finished everything except for the first clip. So I will copy this here as well, but I will have a quick change. I don't want to have a fade in here basically. I want to start with a flash instantly because it's the first clip. So I will delete this first keyframe here and take this second keyframe, so the value 30, all the way to the beginning. Now we will start with a blur, right? So for the blur, we're gonna create an adjustment layer. We do this, so first of all, we can copy it, and second of all, your video will render a lot faster. So for this, go up here to layer, then new, and then adjustment layer. Cut it, again, Ctrl-Shift-D. And we search something called Gaussian blur, I feel like. I usually don't use this blur. I use a blur called BCC Lens Blur, but this tutorial is without plugins. But I feel like Gaussian blur will also do a great job. So search for this one, Gaussian blur, and put it onto your clip. And now go up here, and I feel like we're gonna do like 30. Yeah, this looks pretty good. And keyframe blurriness, press U on your keyboard, go all the way to the end, and press 0. Nice. Okay, this already looks way too blurry as you can see. So we need to put a graph on here as well. Mark them, press F9 to easy ease them, and go into the graph editor. For this one, I would like to use the speed graph because it's way easier for blurs. So right click and search for edit speed graph, and this will open. And now just copy the graph I'm gonna do. I feel like I will do this kind of graph. Our blur is done. The only thing you need to do now is press Ctrl D on your keyboard and just take it to the right. Go left here, put it up, press Z on your keyboard and change the keyframes. So now we will do the text. Really depends on what kind of intro you have. If you have an intro like me, where I just have song text, or maybe you use an intro where the character says something. But if you have the video clip, most people forget to put multi-frame rate on here. So yeah, put multi-frame rate on so it's way smoother. So my text will be how deep is your love? And honestly, to create text is pretty hard in the beginning. I hated to create text, but I try to make it as easy as possible for you. Go up here and search for the T. This is for text, and just like make a square. And now I need to type how deep is your love? Question mark. I would just cut the clip. Okay. So now I want to change something right here. Before we change the text, always center the anchor point. Why? Because if you scale this, you can see it scales very weirdly. And maybe you want to scale this text or something and make a cool little effect. No. It's way easier if you just right click, then transform and center anchor point. And now it's centered. And now if you press S and scale it, it's way better. So what I want to change is, I want to change the distance between those two. Just mark this and then go right here. And this little symbol is for the distance between those two. So I want to change it like that. Press V on your keyboard again. So we have the selection tool. And then we need the align tab. You probably don't have this in the beginning. So to get the align tab, you need to go to Window and then just put align on. If you have this off, it will not be there. We need this so we can align the text better. And we need the second and the fifth option. So press the second option to align it horizontally, and press the fifth option to align it vertically. And now it's perfectly in the middle. So now we will add some effects to the text. So first of all, search for drop shadow in the effects bar and put this onto your clip. We will change the opacity to 100% and the distance to 9 and the softness to 2. So it already looks way better. Then we search for glow, this effect, and put it here. Make the glow radius to 29. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And the next effect is turbulent displays. Boom. This looks very weird, but trust me, it will make your text way much better. You're gonna make this to 12 and this also to 12. Search for the error at evolution options, then random seed, press Alt on your keyboard and press the stopwatch. So now something like this should open, and type in time, then the star symbol and 7. And now we have a little little thing right here. I don't know how to call this, but it makes your text look cooler. This already looks pretty decent, but I want more movement. So we're gonna search for wave warp, this one right here, and put it onto your clip, put it onto your text, and change it to 7, and this one to 700, and this one to 45. And now we have movement. I will show you another text effect, which I really like, and this is perfectly matching the song, is the explosion setting. So go into your clip and then search for explosion. I usually use the first one. Boom. Put motion blur on here so it looks better. And press U on your keyboard. And I usually just change those two and then just look how it looks. And now we need the last little effect, and this is fade up words. Put it onto the text. So now everything is gone and you're like, oh my god, why did I do this? So now you need to listen to what the character says or what the audio says, for me the audio, and just match the text with the audio. As you can see, it's a little bit too fast for me, so press U on your keyboard and just put it like here. And I feel like now we have our text done. Okay, so now the last thing I want to show you is how to change color of a text. And I want to change your love to red. And go to the right here and click onto this white square. And then I just take red here. Yeah, oh, this should not look like this, by the way. If you want to have the same thing as me, this will probably also red for you, the second thing. So press on that and just change it to white. Okay, nice. And now our text is done. Which brings us to the 5th point and the most hard point, coloring. Now, honestly, it's not hard for you. It was hard for me because I need to say doing a coloring without plugins is extremely difficult, but I tried my best and hopefully it looks good. So first of all, go to layer again, then new and adjustment layer. Put it under the text because we don't want any coloring on our text, and then just cut it where it ends, like here. And now just follow me what I'm doing. Onto the first adjustment layer, we will do a gradient ramp. Okay, so just search for gradient ramp. Where is it? This one? And this looks pretty confusing, I know, but just put the first color to white and a second color to black, or like gray, something like this. Dark gray, and change the blend with original to 30%, and then press right click, then blending mode and overlay. And as you can see, if we put this off, we have already a little bit of a coloring here. It makes it more brighter. Then just copy this adjustment layer. Oh no, we're gonna create a new one. Put it here and cut it, and you search for Lumetri color. Nice. Put it on. Go to basic corrections. Change the temperature to 30. The exposure to 0.9. Like this. Put shadows to like -10. And the whites to 84. So the next thing we're gonna do, you can close this up. Go to curves. And we would do a curve like this. So like a little bit more brighter. Yes, something like this. So then we go to color wheels. I prefer, it really depends on what kind of character you first of all have, and second of all, what kind of audio. But I prefer more of a sunny look. So just take this little plus symbol here, and I'm gonna go into the red area. As you can see, if I move this more up, it gets more red. But I want to have it, I don't know, maybe like a little bit like that. An effect called sharpen. Oh wait, no, sharpen. This one right here, put it on and make it to 30. And now we search for another effect called unsharp mask. It's this one. And we would change it to 12 and I don't know, 20. And now we're done. And what you're gonna do is we will pre-compose it. Take your first clip with all of it and the adjustment layer, and then press Ctrl-Shift-C. Press move all attributes together and press OK. Then press S on your keyboard and change the scale from 100 to 101. And now everything is perfectly fine. So the next step is that we do the watermark, and then we basically just finish the edit. And the watermark is pretty easy. So for this, just take those two, like the text and the pre-comp we already made, and then just press Ctrl-Shift-C and move all of those together. So we pre-compose it again. Then we create a new text, and this should be just your name. So my name is Tozel. Yeah, oh, we need to change that. This needs to be a fully right text. Yes. And then center it, transform, center anchor point, scale it how you want it, and I put it here. Okay, once you think you have it, go into the end and cut it here. Then duplicate this clip. So your pre-compose clip, duplicate it. It should look like this for you. So go to toggle switch modes, and this needs to be the second one, the copied one, and go to the second option here, which says none, and put it to Luma Matte and then Tozel. Now it's gone kinda, but trust me, it's there. Then take those two, right click, then pre-compose it again, move those two together. And now we need some more effects. So first of all, search for drop shadow. Put this here. Boom. And make it 70 and 8 and 4. The next one will be exposure. Like this. Boom. And make it 5. Nice. So you can see the watermark. So now let's take those two and press Ctrl, Shift, and C and pre-compose it. Also take this with it. Save. And honestly, you're done. What I like to do now here is to do a little fade in. So to do this, press T on your keyboard, opacity, 100% keyframe, put it like here and press 0. And now you have a little fade in. And now we come to the last and easiest step to export it. So for this, search for file, then export and add to render queue. First go to output module, then this little thing should pop off. Change the format option to Apple ProRes 4444 or whatever that is, and to output audio on. Go to best settings as well. This should be best in full, everything. And then you can just type in a name. This will be like tutorial, and press save, and then press render. So the last thing we need to do, we need to change it from MOV, or like video file now is MOV, to MP4. For this we need Handbrake, and I put a video link down below so you just can download it there if you don't have this. Search the rendered edit up, boom, now it's scanning it. Then this is our edit we made. Go to video. This should be H.264, 30 FPS. This fully to quality 1. I do this high and this to 5.1. Then select where you wanna have it rendered. And then you press on the big green button and start encoding. If you want to have another tutorial with plugins, like all the plugins I use for editing, write it down below. By the way, again, follow my TikTok account. This was a lot of work. I would appreciate it. And I hope it really helped you. And we're gonna see us. Bye bye.